Okay. All right, Fremont.
Fremont. You brought me in, sis? Fremont, did she disconnect me?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's hang up and try to call right back. Call it back.
All right. You gonna call me back?
Do I gotta hang up?
I don't know.
Okay. Queen Hollywood, let me know if Fremont. Hollywood, let me know if I'm going through static. If it's Fremont, so can you hear me clear, Queen Hollywood? Let me know if you can hear me clear on Facebook.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you'll be able to listen to the show.
Okay, let me know if it's
Now in the Facebook
okay, good. Heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Let's get ready. We live and direct. That's what it is. Okay, right on. Heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Y'all know what this is and where we do this. This is Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. coming to you live and direct. Freedom on Radio and Intellectual Radio. Weekly program on the Black Panther Party Cubs, hosted by yours truly, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. and also Robert Allen, a.k.a. the Lady Rage. Let's get locked and loaded to make history, take history, and tape history, y'all. September, make sure I get my dates correct. Is it 26? I think the 26 or 27. What is it? 26. Man, time moving and grooving out to my week, almost up on the heels of the historical date, the historical birth date, October 15th, the Black birth of the Black Panther Party, y'all. Coming up on it, you know what I'm saying? Coming up on it. Go to you know what I'm saying? Their legacy protected, respected, never neglected, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got September 28th. Whoa, I'm really, man, I'm truly, man, right on Queen Hollywood. I'm truly lacking. Man, today has been phenomenal. I have not come down from the phenomenal energy. Man, be straight up with you, you know, so if I could be not frank, if I could not speak frankly, but speak Chairman Fred, which you did, since the Chairman Fred Street Party, August 30th, you did, it was phenomenal. Man, came down, Stephen Lynn in the building, man, representing down in New Orleans, down in Haynesville, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't make it down to Chairman Fred's tombstone last time you did. We got some forces on our heels. We gonna make sure we on deck down to this time though, man. But we appreciate you, brother. Real talk. Let me say this off my chest, man. You know, today I just been, you know, I was gonna put a post up and say, I'm still gonna put the post up. The state, the system, the state, they have done throughout my life have done their due diligence with sending so many people at me. But I'm gonna say this though, as of recent, I just gotta say this, man. Hey, you know, super abstract metaphysical thing. God has been sending some hell of a people at me too, man. I really appreciate energy, the forces. I'm to my man. It's man, real talk, man. You know, still shopping, still, and men and women shopping, men and women, man. You know, up early this morning, moving and grooving, man. You know, Brother D Cook, you know what I'm saying, who rolled past, he wanted to do the event, speak to these youngsters. They 22, I guess you call them youngsters. I guess we call them youngsters. The school he spoke to them today. I think we calling in the phenomenal event from the Chairman Fred Street Park, which I told y'all. I'm to my man. It's phenomenal, you know. And some of the same forces, man. You did. I mean, I mentioned Chairman Fred's tombstone down there. You know, let me show right here. The phenomenal times we made before, and just even, yeah. How do we say in the church? You blessed. You know what I'm saying? And I just really appreciate it. You know, to be able to do this work. You know what I'm saying? Because as individuals, we don't. But then in Santa Ana, California, touchdown. You know, Jacob Blake, the father of Jacob Blake, who was shot 7 times by Wisconsin police. Bianca Taylor, the auntie of Breonna Taylor, the sister who was in her home, and the police that came in Kentucky and murdered her, and the brother Kenny, who was her guide that was there. Man, in the morning they come in, you dig, and it's something you don't hear. You don't hear a lot of fanfare about that. You know, he was locked up. You know, this. I mean, man, they come in, they gun her down, man. You know, he moving the fence. You know what I'm saying? You know, his lady, him. You know, and it took a lot of struggle to get them charges dropped off of him. And you would think it'd be some sort, you know, big, you know, fanfare interviews to talk about. You know, you have examples of family under contested conditions. You know, you don't hear about that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And that's what I'm saying it sarcastically. I know why you don't, because images are important. You know, just to be able to relate to that. You know, I guarantee a lot of people don't know the whole story about that and the trauma that go down. You know. And it's important to put that in context. You know what I'm saying? Not you know, when we talk about relationships, we talk about anything in our community, man. You got to put it in context, man. It ain't the Dagwood and Blondie show. You know what I'm saying? You just can't talk about, you know, romanticism, some sort of abstract way. You get, you know, talk about the heat that comes with it. I mentioned to these brothers who I was speaking to this class today about to make sure they watch the movie Claudine. And, you know, it's a 1970s flick, and talked about like just even the pressures of, you know, just even relationships, how they would, the welfare agencies coming through the house, no, can't find no men's shoes there, so on and so forth. And this, and, you know, lots of people can't sum it up politically, but, you know, it translates to your stomach. Like, you know, it's more bologna in the refrigerator, more Kool-Aid, more juice in the refrigerator. The man is gone. Before you know it, it becomes a norm, you know. The music, everything's political. We had this discussion with these brothers today, and just want you to make sure that we keep that in mind. And then when we talk about anything in our community, we under contested conditions. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we get up and about, you know, can walk on 2 feet alone, that's something. It's another saying that says, if black people look like what we've been through, man, it'd be hell. You did, but just want to, you know, just commend the comrades, commend the community, commend the people, man. You know, gonna keep on fighting. You dig? And we had just campaigns. Brandon Lopez up there in Santa Ana, California, we did a podcast. Senate and Sarah, they put connected with this podcast. I don't know if it's posted yet. Cannabis 101, you dig? And a lot of people, cause they call it, niggas when they talk about some smoke. We man, you know, Cortez Rice, you know, who called him before. He called him from jail. Who his son was murdered when he was in jail, and he was locked up for, they say, you know, he went to in regards to the case. And it's Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and, you know, and then he was talking about the connecting the dots, and I tell stuff be so bing, like rapid fire. The time he somehow, you know, he got the phone, you know, his phone call just about his son being murdered, and you start thinking this stuff just, you know, coincidence, but man, the connections of it, you know, and I was like, well, you paranoid, you know, so, you know, man, the reality is, they don't miss a beat. They don't miss a beat, and that's one of the things we attempt to do, to heighten the contradictions, and put in this correct political and historical context. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? What has been going on with our people, man? Why certain things happen? You need to understand. You need to look at You wonder why certain entertainers don't say certain things. And you like, oh, I wonder why the rappers always talking about nonsense and they don't never rap about no issues in our community. And I say it to be like the trigger, like hiding the contradictions. But the reality is, as we talked about last week, in this the FBI surveillance on Aretha Franklin. You know what I'm saying? And see, we got to start being upfront about this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so, saying sometimes we like you dismiss it. We have to be consistent about putting stuff in correct political context. The heat that comes with even acknowledging, in the music industry, in the movie industry, in the movements, but even relating to our people. You know what I'm saying? If someone want to call, if someone feel they should call in and they want a difference, so well, maybe Aretha Franklin's being, surveillance because she went to the church, or because she was just because she had a good voice. Maybe you have some information that I'm not privy to, but you feel frog's leap. Because reality is, you dig, just even acknowledging having a black bone alone is considered a crime. You know what I'm saying? And you look back and none of us hear about the McCarthy hearings and the Red Scare. You hear about different white entertainers, how their careers were destroyed. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know about the thing about Paul Robeson, the late great Paul Robeson, how he was attacked and you know what I'm saying, banned from the country, financially hit. I mean, man, the isolation that they put him under. I think it was one situation where the late great Paul Robeson, yeah, okay. I think my Facebook, comrade Stan, I think my Facebook need to be updated too. It might be the Facebook. Okay. Let me know if that Facebook is breaking up still. And so come on over to Intellectual Radio or Chairman Fred Jr. on YouTube Live, and we're gonna work on this Facebook also. I think that's what it is. Facebook is being breaking. I'm on Instagram also, at official Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. Okay, right on. Okay, if you call in, okay, no doubt. So okay, come working the boards. So we done broke the ice, and I think Facebook is breaking up still back. I think I got to update that or something. But again, go check out what Paul Robeson went through. Malcolm, who really impacted Malcolm X, so many other. And I dare to say, it's high school Paul Robeson. You'd be surprised if people not familiar with that of Paul Robeson. Dr. Margaret T. Burroughs, who was like a lady date, in other words, more than a secretary, Paul Robeson. Who Dr. Margaret T. Burroughs, who founded DuSable Museum. You did, her and her husband, Charles Burroughs. Paul Robeson, man, I'm talking about, who sacrificed. I'm talking about phenomenal athlete, orator. I haven't seen the piece with Denzel Washington. What was this? He just played. They was shocked he could even do it. Who was it? The play. Y'all forgive me for getting it to come to the minute, but Paul Robeson had done it also as a Shakespeare play, and Paul Robeson was in exile for a while in Russia. Ironically, while we talking about, in Russia, and one time during the hearings, Senator McCarthy was a spokesperson or the poster child for these hearings, in which they was labeling everyone with being tied to the Communist Party. And let me know, Comrade Stan, if I'm still breaking up real bad over there. And Jackie Robinson's, Paul Robeson was coming in, and Paul Robeson's son is supposed to ask Jackie Robinson for an autograph, and Paul Robeson told him to hold fast. It's, like really bad. So he explained to him later, because, Jackie Robinson was amongst others who was on the other side of the question. What I'm saying, with the attacks were being waged against Paul Robeson and likes, and you hear about a lot of people, careers were destroyed, lives, people were executed, but man, It's heartbreaking. You hear about the struggles that Paul Robeson went through, man. But he was a phenomenal force, man. Phenomenal force, man. If you're not hip to him, go check him out. Go check him out, man. He did. And again, everything. So this is you talking about, and certain messages are trickled down for generations to entertain us. Well, this is what you do. You know what I'm saying? It becomes second. And after you know it, it's like the breaking process. You know, you don't even know why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? You just go in and say, okay, we go in, we talk about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can't connect it, but it's embedded so hard. You know what I'm saying? The breaking process. You know, there's certain individuals, movements, or whatever. So next thing you know, you can't got the term they use even when you train dogs, you say you can after a while you can move the gate and he won't go so far, you know. And so we got to really be cognizant of that, you know, and heighten those contradictions. Why different phenomena such as music, any forms of entertainment, and why all these dynamics should be utilized, you know what I'm saying, in regards to some advancement. To, you know, if not challenge, at least acknowledge what's going on in our communities, y'all. Y'all call in. Let me know y'all thoughts. A lot of discussion going on about the proposed Safety Act, the no cash bail bond, and some more things that are going on. And let's talk about the history of how U.S. imperialism, in particular, is able to package up different laws, package up entertainers, and make it sound real good. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we missed the small print. Let's talk about that, y'all. Let's talk about how you feel about the Chairman Fred Street Party. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about what happened in Santa Ana, California. You know what I'm saying? The campaigns that we addressed there. Your thoughts. Feel free to call in. And better yet, as we say, come on and Cub being with us. 929-477-3785. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's take history. Sister Conrad, we got any callers in queue?
No callers in queue, Chairman.
Okay, callers, I need y'all to press 929-477-3785. Then press 1. 929-477-3785. And then press 1 to be heard. Try that again. 929-477-3785. And then press 1 to get in. I'm saying it slow because I told Jaquez and the rest of them youngsters at their school today, I told y'all about to be called in or I'll be back at their school ASAP. 929-477-3785. While we waiting on the callers to call in, I reference this term a lot of times, the Richard Pryor, comedic genius Richard Pryor. Hold on, first of all, shout out Show Body in the building, man. You've been holding out on us. We can get them videos pumping and rolling, man. Like you said, once a week pumping the videos out. Us before me, Show Body in the building. I like the term comedic genius Richard Pryor, who, again, I gotta say, was heavily impacted by the Black Panther Party. Mr. Checkpoint, you feel free to call back in, and then press 1. You call in, and make sure you look for them callers to call in, and then bring them on in. So, matter of fact, you can cut me off at will when it calls in. But that term, peopleologist, I like that term. And I was drawing a correlation, if you will, to a situation recently. A brother who works in the NA field, or Alcoholics Anonymous, so on and so forth, he had brought to my attention that certain things are triggers. And I said, dig, and I noticed a situation, said triggers for certain, he can pick up on people that has dealing with past habits or what have you. And I correlated to the political, I say, man, like certain scenes and certain situations can be triggers for people politically. And I really appreciate, I'll go more into detail about that, but their lesson. But that's how we can relate to things with a clinical analysis as opposed to political analysis. But again, we have the human brain. The brain is something else, man. I'm like, what I'm saying? I mean, the brain is something else. Callers, y'all come on and call in. What is a Cub in? What is a 9-2? Free Monster, come right.
Fremont, and we got a caller in queue.
Calling Q. Welcome to Fremont Radio.
What's up, Chairman? It's Senate, Mr. Checkpoint.
So you're right. Right on. Sending Mr. Checkpoint on Instagram, man. Good to hear your voice, man. It was good. It was good to see you this past weekend. Yeah, was it this past weekend?
It was amazing to see you.
Right on.
And I feel like all of California, for sure, Southern California, and I know definitely Santa Ana, all of us, felt your presence. We appreciated your energy, your time, your speech. What today is the anniversary of Brandon Lopez, who was, killed murdered by the Anaheim PD. He was unarmed, and what they did to him is like torture. They threw like a smoke grenade in his car, and when he gets out, within seconds, they shoot so many bullets in him that he's nearly, in half. And of course, when it's in front of his family, then the police, arrest the dad and do things like this. It's as disgusting as we continually see for the 1,000+ lives taken every year by the police.
And this occurred again in Santa Ana, California, correct?
Correct. It was in Santa Ana, California, and it happened to be to a council member, Jonathan Hernandez. It was his cousin, Brandon Lopez, that the Anaheim police murdered. And you had people like himself, a council member who's also a family member, among the father, among the mother, there wanting to supply support to their loved one who's having a mental health crisis. And then there you have the police do this in front of everybody. So the community and families across the country flew out, drove, and we stand in solidarity with them and every family affected and impacted by police violence across our country. And our number one objective to bring awareness to is we want to end qualified immunity. When something like this happens to your loved one, this is not something where you can just move from the city or the place. There's no getting away from the police at this time. And so we got to keep coming together to make sure when they do these disgusting acts that they're actually held accountable and treated just like anybody else would if they were to do the same thing.
You mentioned the term qualified immunity. Can you give us a little more in-depth and layman terms of that? Because we want to talk about, especially right now, on the heels of coming up on election time, not only in Chicago but throughout the country. A lot of terms that threw around, and many people may feel hesitant to ask in layman terms, what does it mean? And I want everyone to get their pens and papers out of their iPads and what have you. Because some of these terms, some of these different legal terms or what have you may be interchangeable in other parts of the country, but to really dissect it and let's struggle to like I recall some years back, I'm say 2002, 2003. What was this? It was a joint venture between all law enforcement agencies, Safe Neighborhoods Act. That's what it was, and I was we challenging it, the Safe Neighborhoods Act, and basically what it was in a situation where local law enforcement, federal agencies and they merging together, and so a lot of times we hear different medical terms or legal terms. We really don't grasp the significance to it, or so how it impacts us. And actually, that's what it impacts really, in particular, the Black community, as well as all the other respective colonized communities. But it's said to us, discussions I had, whether it be politicians or people in the medical field, in a sort of dogma or elitism way that people are taught to feel stupid for not knowing what these are. You would think, the irony is, you would think if the most impacted community should be abreast of this conversation. Should be, like Tupac had a talk. He said schools should talk about different stuff that we go through in the respective community, and that's why like with sickle cell anemia. that was something that was not discussed, and you know what I'm saying, in black community was primarily being impacted by it. In the Black Panther Party, they so they made it applicable how they dealt with the people with the first retesting for sickle cell anemia, and you know what I'm saying, and how they literally turned the communities into classrooms. In that spirit, we want to these terms. I want people to let's have some discussion about qualified immunity. Let's have some discussion about the Safety Act. Let's have some discussion about the Pre-Trial Fairness Act. You know what I'm saying? Let's be able to break it down the way out the pros and cons, because the reality is there'll be situations where certain momentum is gained, and when the mass in the ruling class will say, okay, dole out some concessions, and we have to be able to say this. You have to be armed and equipped with a political analysis to take a position. As Frantz Fanon has stated, that to be able to accept the concessions without compromising our principles. So we got, in other words, we got to know we come through this. Okay, look, this is our line of demarcation. We'll say we would go no further, and we know certain things. We get this law, they might take this, whatever, and be real careful with the fine print. Like you hear, like affirmative action. In the front, it'll be based on you think black people. Then all of a sudden, they start playing the word game with the word minority. So so let's listen up, and let's have call in, let's engage some dialogue about these different respective laws we're talking about. Who does it impact? How does it impact? You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's like nothing is absolute. You know what I'm saying? And you may say, okay, well, this may be beneficial at a certain period of time, but you know what I'm saying? But like I tell you, the parole hearing, so on and so forth, you have to put in context what period of time you're talking about. So with that being said, give us a little background in this positions that, in particular, Santa Ana, California, and if there is something that you think that you see as close to equivalent to that in any other respective parts throughout the country.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's an amazing question and point. And exactly, qualified immunity. It's hard to even know what that could even mean. So what it really is, simply put, is when there's a lawsuit and a person is a victim of any type of anything. When there's a lawsuit with any company, the company has to pay it. That's why, if you were to work for any company in the country and you were to cost your employer money, they're not going to hire you. And if they have chains all over the country, you're not going to be hired at any of them ever, because you've cost your employer money. And it's financially, it would be financially unsafe to hire someone that could cost their employer money. What qualified immunity is it's really only for the police. And that's why you can have officers, including one of the officers that killed Brandon Lopez, kill multiple people, 1, 2, 3 people, and still be employed. Now, if a family's paid out, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in a settlement, and it comes out of that officer's pocket, are they going to be able to do that 1, 2, 3, 4 times? Of course not. And the reason that qualified immunity is a horrible thing is because it gives this blanket protection for police officers, so that the taxpayers have to pay the money. The victims of the police have to pay their own settlements. And again, that's horrible. That doesn't even make sense that we're paying our own settlements. It's over $1 billion has been paid because of police misconduct to the people, and that's paid by the people. So if we could end qualified immunity, I don't think it could be financially. It wouldn't be financially able to be continued if the people who were responsible for these murders, for these assaults, were financially responsible for the damages that they caused. So that's how I understand qualified immunity to be.
So right on. So the qualified immunity is okay. It's applicable to criminal as well as civil litigation.
Not criminal.
Okay.
So criminal, in criminal, it's going to be different, right? The prosecutor is rarely going to charge, right? In the case of
Right.
Breonna Taylor, you mentioned Kenny Walker. You know, Kenny Walker to me is a hero. He was trying
Yeah.
to protect his queen because there were intruders in his place. You
In
know,
case of
and
Breonna
so
Taylor,
he
yeah,
should be celebrated. Yeah.
yeah,
And you had people like Daniel Cameron at the time say that, you know, all the worst things about Breonna Taylor and Kenny Walker, yet cover up for the cops who now are being charged. And so the process of that is really the people continuing to demand justice, the prosecutors eventually holding those officers, or in some cases the FBI having to come in and hold these cops accountable. But then that's going to actually come to a courtroom. And something that I've been sharing how we handle the courtroom is we have to participate in jury duty. And they use jurors to continually put people who shouldn't be in jail, or as we should call them, in concentration camps.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to put people in concentration camps that they shouldn't, and they'll actually let officers who should go to the prison and the concentration camp, they let them go home because of juries not reflecting the communities that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And so the qualified immunity is more the financial civil part. The prosecutor ideally has to charge these cops when they do wrong, which rarely happens. Less than 1% of cops who do wrong are held accountable. And I believe if we end qualified immunity, this kind of blanket financial insurance that they get,
yeah.
It would help end that.
You know, the irony, you know, even with this discussion, you know, like a lot of times you can say, you know, a lot of people say, well, they have questions on how to see what's a contradiction and what's not a contradiction. I said, well, you know, a litmus test in many cases is just turn the tables around. Like, you know, look at how the people are treated, you know, in regards to cases, you know, and the rip off of their resources. You know, off the top of my head, I'm thinking about, you know, Florida and Louisiana in particular. You know what I'm saying? When it's blatant. You know what I'm saying? With just even the charge of being charged, people being charged with a crime. And, you know what I'm saying, how law enforcement get to ride around in their cars, their vehicles, their house. I mean, I'm talking before they even convicted, you know what I'm saying? And you say, well, how is this great, this contrast of how people, you know what I'm saying, the question of resources, how people just can have all their livelihood ripped up from them. And you know what I'm saying? And, I mean, and then even cases where people are in prison where they, you know what I'm saying, they penalize their finances, you know what I'm saying? Some places in prison, they charge you, they have prisoners paying rent. You know what I'm saying? You would think, like, you know, logical thing would be like, man, hey, evict me, you know, man, kick me up out of here. You really, for all practical purpose, you're a captive audience. You know what I'm saying? You there's no tenant association. You know this. You know, a rent strike. You know what I'm saying? But this is a reality. You know what I'm saying? You know, cats who they may have doing prison labor. You know what I'm saying? You have some money on what they call money on the books or commissary, and to have this contrast with law enforcement. You know, like I said, you get, like you said, this blanket insurance policy, and it impacts how you move, or potentially don't move. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a criminal psychologist said that behavior is affected by consequences. You know, and so this is something that, I don't know. We got to keep, look for any something that's correlated to it here in Chicago and other places. But excuse me, we should be familiar with this here. Y'all feel free to call in with us, y'all. We live in the rec on Freedom on Radio 929-477-3785. We're talking to Senate. You know, we're talking, you know what I'm saying? Always feeling the police. We still riding high of the phenomenal event. We had some discussions that already are talking about some moves with a Savage Fam, Comrade Connell, who's Tiny House Warriors, and others. You know what I'm saying? To really, you know what I'm saying, keep this momentum going. We brainstorm. I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but we brainstorm on something that's bigger than the concert, bigger than the conference. You know what I'm saying? In fact, that might be one of the slogans we do when we have this event. But if those who missed the event in Santa Ana, I'm talking about Lila Steinberg had her artists was there performing. They rocked the stage. You know, Councilman Hernandez, he spoke. Tony DeWitt. You know, I mean, it was people from different forces, and also at the event was representative people who knew Brandon Lopez, the local respective tattoo parlors, the barber shops, what have you. You know, so it wasn't just confined to the quote unquote conscious crowd. You know, so when people come in, so you know, I mean, it was again cats who do the tattoos, all that. You know, so it was a phenomenal event. And I made point of that because you know often we say it's important that we distinguish a war from a revolution. You know, war being you have two occupying armies and you suit up and you boot up and you get out to get out. And the revolution, on the other hand, where you gain the mass of participation of the masses of the people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to point that out again. Phenomenal event. We live in the wreck, y'all. Making history, taking history, taping history. 929-477-3785. Press 1 to be heard. Send it. Let us know anything. Feel free. Anything else you want we missed, you want to touch on, feel free.
I would just say that, yeah, you know, I encourage people to always film the police because if it's, you know, your word against theirs, we all know how that goes. And so we need transparency, and unfortunately, we need proof. And the cops have killed, you know, 1,055 people at least in 2021. That's at least 3 people a day. You know, we only know George Floyd because someone was holding their phone and filming it. And so when we see the police, we need to film them. If we're getting pulled over, we need to film before we pull over. I got people, you know, every day saying, hey, the cop told me not to film. Well, you should, you know, in my opinion, you should be filming before. The second you see it, this is what I do. If I see a cop anywhere, I start filming. I'd rather delete the video later and just have something recording on me. And some people go, oh, is that illegal? You know, do you have to tell them? No. The police are public servants. When they're in uniform, when they're on duty, they work for us. They have no expectation of privacy. So you know, we can film them all of the time when we talk to them, and we don't have to let them know. I was pulled over. I spent the night in jail because I didn't want to, you know, follow the officer's directions, and that's possible. Unfortunately, they got a gun. They got cuffs. So when we don't listen to them, you know, they can actually just physically do things that if we retaliate, we're actually going to be in more trouble, or we could be dead and look like the criminals or instead of the victims that we are. So the reality is we always have to film them, and that's just something I'm going to continue to share and let people know. And regarding the prisons, you know, the whole thing is to make money. They're making billions of dollars for these corporations. They've got inmates making $0, pennies on the dollar. When they get out, they can't even same jobs that they had in the prison that they got paid nothing for. And the whole thing, you know, slavery was never abolished. It was given an exception. And so I know that that's coming up on the ballots as well in 5 different states. Alabama is one of them, which has some of the most heinous prison concentration camp conditions that I've ever seen. And so, yeah, and the idea that everyone in these prisons are, you know, violent people, no. I know someone in one of these maximum security prisons who is 23 years old. He's never been violent. He's never harmed anybody. You know, he got a 65-year sentence at 15 years old. And Chairman, I know you were fortunate enough to speak to his mother, Gina,
yes,
regarding Lakeith Smith. But, you know, this is a kid who's in one of these prisons. This isn't, we got to, you know, realize that this is not all, the stuff they've shown in the movies, the media and all this stuff, it's all been brainwashing us, and we got to really start having these conversations. So I thank you, you know, for again, the energy and the time that you brought. And I know you forever changed me among others, so you're so appreciated.
Right on. Well, I'm honored and humble, looking forward to, you know what I'm saying, future moves. If you can, Kenny, if you give us Kenny's, Kenny, that's the young brother I talked to the other day, correct?
I'm sorry, who was it?
Who, the young man I talked to who's locked up now? I talked to him and his mother.
Oh, yeah, well, you only had talked, yeah. his mother you had spoken to, Lakeith Smith, yes.
Okay, is it possible to give out this information? Can we have a program of one prisoner, one contact? We encourage people to correspond with different prisoners, you know what I'm saying, for everything from not only the morale question, but the security question.
Absolutely. I would love to get you the information that people can contact and mail him stuff, directly. Absolutely.
Right on. You have that on hand? Do you have it on hand?
What, excuse me?
Do you have it now? Do you have it now?
Oh, do I have it now? Yeah, I could get it. 1 second. Here you go.
Okay,
Yes,
no problem.
I will.
Right on.
Let me see. Hold on.
Right on. No problem.
Yeah, because sending him mail, you know what I mean? He's got court coming up December 2nd. So I know, okay, here it is. And I'll
Someone
listen.
listen, type it in. Yeah.
To the chairman as well. But it's Lakeith Smith, and then it's AIS, and then there's numbers 314060, and that's St. Clair Correctional Facility, 1000 St. Clair Road. It's Springville, Alabama, and the address is 36146. And if you send a self-addressed envelope, there's no guarantees, but it's possible that Lakeith would be able to write something back and send you something as well. And I'll make sure to send you that information, Chairman.
Right on. In the spirit of one prisoner, one contact, no doubt about it. This is imperative for a number of reasons. We mentioned before that even in the state of Illinois, there are prisoners who've been dead over an excess of 15 years. But the state still is getting allocated resources for them, being that the state still has them on count. So no accountability, y'all. Again, so y'all make sure that one prisoner, one contact line is there in the building. I see you. Okay, come on, call in. So you got some updates in regards to the case of Grandmaster Jay and also the case of Ozone. You say, okay, let's put it out. You know what I'm saying? The lines are open. You know what I'm saying? 929-477-3785. Press 1. You know what I'm saying? We talking about, are we moving the group? I want to talk about also, I think next week I want to talk about this too, though. Let me breathe, you know what I'm saying, before I talk about, I keep on procrastinating about these movie reviews. There's a lot of discussion in regards, everything is political. A lot of discussion in regards to this Jeffrey Dahmer discussion. And I think, like in so many things, there's always an attempt to devalue a contradiction not committed to some sort of, elementary, person of race or racist, or he's a bad person, he's this monster. The dynamics of the Jeffrey Dahmer case in Milwaukee is, it really is reflective. It's a microcosm of, everything from issues with the mental health issue to that of how, the politics of how the media depicts, and that's not to mention the way in regards to the police. You know what I'm saying? The way, imagine black folks having some stale chicken. Inside the apartment, they kick it through your doors. So, you cannot negate the question of race. That the law enforcement in Milwaukee actually brought. I think the Asian dude, they brought him back to Jeffrey Dahmer, literally. You know what I'm saying? And we just, and it's like even when the police come up on the scene, and if you see black people, how you criminalize. And I only seen 1 or 2 episodes, but matter of fact, it was brought to my attention. Brother reminded me that the cat who got the case, or the cat who took Jeffrey Dahmer out, brother reminded me, he said, "Champ, you remember you used to talk to him? You remember him years ago around the neighborhood?" I said, "Wow, it's a small world." But again, whenever we have the opportunity to really put in the correct political context, we'll be going delving into that a little more deeper. But y'all get these list of prisoners up and their contacts up and call in, give us any updates, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? 929-477-3785. Again, those who missed that event, it might be posted up. I know Showbody got a clip going to be putting up shortly. So y'all repost that. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's take history, y'all. 929-477-3785. Press 1. Right on. Any more calls in queue? And let me just say again, Senator, we appreciate you. And I hope I didn't text. Could you text Joe Grande? Could you text him the flyer? Right, I meant to send it to him. Send it to him. Joe and Blue, text them.
I will.
Text and tell them I'm on the air right now. I meant to text
I'm
them.
gonna text it. I'll message it to the
Yeah, man, damn. I meant to send. I got calls rushing, man.
I'm gonna get them
Yeah,
on.
and tell them I want them to hear the show.
I want to mention also. No, tell me.
I want them to hear the show, and also you can Jacob Blake, Bianca Cortez. So make sure you send them that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I love they call it too. Because the event. I just can't stress enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the environment, the people. And it was a lot of times you get caught. Like it's the flow of it. You know what I mean? Like so I'm really brainstorming on this thing. I'm thinking about this move I'm looking at, and that thing being bigger than the concert, bigger than the conference, because a lot of times we get caught up in these stagnant, actual event or whatever, and they find that balance with the artist, what they're saying, coincides with the politics of the agenda. But the deal is, when you come up out of there, how you feel, you know what I'm saying? Not only in hiding some contradictions, you've been enlightened, but also really, tied into some concrete work. Again, I think it was phenomenal. We were real big advocates about the people being able to speak on their own terms, and that was, people from different respective communities. You know what I'm saying? This laying it out. 'Cause you don't need a degree to say something's wrong with the police shooting you 17 times. You did. And I look forward to correlating these cases to, right here, in the city of Chicago and throughout every colonized community, what's happening. I don't know if y'all, with some, like I said, elections coming up now, and there's some certain, that's a discussion. And feel free, anybody else in the Chicago area, you know what I'm saying, your thoughts. And we hearing these discussions, but you know what I'm saying, the Pretrial Fairness Act, other things that talk the Safety Act. I told me, say, well, that's just some new law. But let's dissect it, you know what I'm saying? And also look for, you can go to Cassandra Greer's page and talk about how it would have impacted the Pretrial Fairness Act, the case of Nicholas Lee. So a lot of times you need to take, I'm glad how you just sent it, the law, the qualified immunity. Sometimes we need these to make it applicable, because sometimes the way the ruling class, if they even talk to us about the law, or I'm gonna say any the law, medical situations, it's in an abstract way, and sometimes you need. I know for myself, you say, okay, no, this is a direct case that you can correlate how it impacts you. So we want to talk about that, since that people can relate to, and that's how you grasp certain things. A lot of times, you say, like I tell people, even when you watch a TV show, if it's something that you really can't, relate to, of course, you're like, damn, that connection is you're hard pressed to get that connection. So we want to have this discussion with these laws, so how it's applicable, and to us in one way or another. I say one way or another because a lot of times we don't see the direct hit. We miss the reverb effect. Again, we don't see the direct hit, the direct impact of a respective law, or some in the medical field. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's go to example, coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? I was telling someone, you can imagine, you really can't imagine. Yeah, I heard. Yes, Paris, that Facebook. I gotta sit down and I think update this Facebook. I believe that's what it is. The iPad. I want y'all to maybe y'all can come to Chairman Fred Jr. on YouTube. Also, there's gonna be a different child or different person now. You know what I'm saying? Even that physically survives this era of during the pandemic, where you're told not to embrace each other, not to come into contact with each other. That's something that you even after you say this, okay, no more. There's no more fear of the coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? But that there's gonna be a different child that's born during that era as opposed to 8, 5, 10 years ago. So saying even the killings in our communities, and not just Chirac. I mean, and take notice, y'all, what's happening. Philadelphia, I think New Orleans had just called for They said, I mean, for all practical purposes, they don't use the term. They said deputizing citizens in response to the crime epidemic in places in New Orleans, Louisiana. And you had to say, wait a minute, how was this? I mean, what do you attribute to this? You know, saying, I mean, just the killings, the type of killings that happen every day, all day, and you know, and people say terms like the purge or whatever, man, but it's real deal. And the purge, like when you talk about the purge, is not just massive killings, but you look at what type of laws are being put in place, what type of what rewards are given. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, I was watching some movie the other day, maybe Chicago PD. Yeah, it was an episode of Chicago PD, and it was showing how the lieutenant of the special unit, Voight, how they had took down this particular section of a major cartel, but then the ones that came in, the one that was brought in after them, you know what I'm saying, how more much of a lack of structure to the ones that came in, how more dogmatic they were with the community. And I said, you really can correlate to the streets, you know what I'm saying? And how, saying, actually, I think Tupac had said in the music industry, Tupac had said something to the effect, he said, you think I'm something, wait till you see what happens to the ones they bring in after me. And you look at the music industry, you know what I'm saying? You say, damn, what's the odds of this? What's the odds of this? What's the, for it to be the norm of the disdain for, all these rappers, you know what I'm saying, disdain for black people, for the hate for, the disdain for black men and black women, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to, yeah, you get a couple of ones you can pick out, you say, what, this got to be by design. What's the odds of this in Philadelphia, New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, every night just, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. We down by design, y'all. 929-477-3785, press 1. Baton the builder. Hey, my brother, hey, man, hey, Mission love you, man. Call in, as we say, cub in if you feel, my brother. Good, man, good to see you. Good to see you, yes, indeed. Salam right back at you, man, no doubt about it. Free Maui. Any callers in queue?
I sent the image to a bunch of them as well just now.
Perfect. And if they call in late or whatever, they tune in late, make sure you tell them again, make sure they replay the show. And like I said, we're going to be up and ante with us. We're talking about this with the podcast. I definitely going to be reaching out. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how Joe and Blue had that? Is that podcast going to be shown in full? Sometimes it wasn't posted yet, was it?
Yeah.
It was?
I'll ask them what day, but I think it would No, I don't think yet.
Okay.
But I believe it will be.
Yeah, I know that type of machine.
I don't think it's come out yet, but
yeah. I don't think
so. But as soon as we get a link for it, I'll let you know.
We're looking forward to it.
As well, though, I was going to mention one of the families in attendance of the Santa Ana event was the family of Valentina. And, speaking of qualified immunity and how it impacts people, and, on the day before Christmas Eve, there was a gentleman having a mental health crisis in the Burlington Coat Factory department store, and the LAPD stormed in, and this one particular officer, William Jones, he storms ahead of everybody, and it's on his body cam. They released partial body cam. Of course, they never release all of it, even though we pay for all of it. But he shows that he, storms past everybody, and then he, murders this gentleman having a mental health crisis, and his name was Daniel Hernandez, the guy having the mental health crisis. And when the guy shot this AR, this assault rifle, Officer William Jones, the bullets went through the wall and killed a 14-year-old girl who was in the dressing room with her mother praying that, everything would be okay and for the safety. Huh?
No, I'm recalling the case now. I'm recalling.
Yeah. She was a 14-year-old Chilean girl, Valentina. Our president, the President Biden, had to apologize to the Chilean president for, a state-sanctioned violence against one of their people. And the reality is, this officer, William Jones, we understand is still getting paid. He's on a paid leave, and right now he's the football coach for a school called Santa Clarita High School. So, we don't even know if the community there knows. When I actually called the high school and I spoke to the staff there, I said, did you know that the coach is responsible for killing 2 people, one of which was a 14-year-old girl, and now he's around, 14-year-olds? And, they said they didn't know. So I think as a community, these are practical things that we can do. We can look up Santa Clarita High School in Southern California.
Yes.
You can email the people, you could call them, etc. And I just wanted to mention that this is what we're dealing with. If that officer was responsible for the financial damages that he's caused, he wouldn't be currently working as a coach. You know what I'm saying?
That's a tactic that that the ruling class has historically employed, moving these people around like chess pieces, letting the heat die down for a minute. In fact, there was a big discussion a few weeks back about the pig who killed Tamir Rice, and he was about to be sworn in for the people put their community heat down and expose him. So right on, we got to saying don't think it's you better hit, like got this damn his pig's name in Chicago, but they move him around, you know what I'm saying? So and we got to be on it, that's we got to be on it. Yes.
And they know that. They know it. And I once told the officers, what bothers me the most, it's not even that an individual officer does something wrong. It's that there's no accountability ever across all of you. That's what's the most bothering. And he said, I had an officer in uniform once tell me this. He said, yeah, but you know where it's worse? I said, where? He said, where, like, the priests and the pedophiles, he said, yeah, they never get held accountable, and they just get transferred everywhere. I said, yeah, but the difference among that is I don't have to go into a church and interact with anyone. But if you get behind me and put on your lights, what's going to happen if I don't pull over? And that's they know this. I couldn't even believe he said that. But I guess I can, because that's how bad it is. And I just want to again thank you for your time. I do gotta hop off, but I'm gonna keep listening, supporting, and I can't wait to keep making change with you.
Right on. Appreciate you. We're gonna continue to make history, take history, and tape history, y'all. Live and direct, y'all. Again, we just came in from Santa Ana, California, still riding, as Chairman Fred would say, still riding high off the people. So again, y'all, y'all reposted, let people know, tune in, tap in with us. So come right, any more callers in queue? You got
the callers in queue, Chairman.
Y'all, you have to press 1 to be heard. 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 929-477-3785, and then press 1. Okay, hold on. I got my glasses on there. I see a question somewhere. Give me a little more specifics. Who was that? Mac Dre. Okay, you said, do you think the tensions within the governments can head tomorrow? Give me a little more specifics if you can, or call in. I'm really not clear on your question. You say, do I think they can the tensions? Give me a little more clarity. So we can take it from now. A little more clarity. You know what I'm saying? Okay, look for any other questions or comments on here, y'all. Mac Dre, give me a little more clarity on your question, and I'll tap in with you. Or feel free to call in, 929-477-3785. Then press 1 to be heard. It's been a phenomenal day. Okay, well. Okay, we wait any callers in queue, and feel free, any points in particular, call in them. 929, someone put 929-477-3785, and then you press 1. Call us. 929-477-3785. Then press 1. It was a couple more announcements I knew I had to make. Calling Q. You skipping also. Says. Caller, welcome to Fremont Radio, caller.
Peace and love, peace and black power. How everybody doing?
We well on this end. How you doing? Who do we have here on Fremont Radio?
This Cortez Rice, a civil rights activist.
Oh man.
Also the executive director of Families United. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I am still. Is what Chairman Fred would say. I'm still too proletarian, revolutionary, intoxicated to be astronomically intimidated. And what that means, y'all, in plain layman's terms, too high of the people to be shook up. I just mentioned Cortez Rice a minute ago. I just literally left them the event that Senate just called and we were talking about. Oh man, Sister Bianca, Jacob Blake. The energy was off the chain now. You know what I'm saying? Again, people still buzzing. Again, it was. The energy was. We put some, left some stains and some brains and some marks and some hearts. And one just after the event, we had some powerful podcasts, and Cortez Rice was called in before, actually while he was locked up, and just even to hear the story, a lot of times it's hard for people to connect the dots, and this is 50 years later, you look back and say, oh man, I didn't know this was, timing, this was connected like. This case is connected to this case. A lot of times you don't think the machine is actually, the strategic strikes that they're doing. And like a beast in the boxing ring. I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? You not only gotta watch your physical body, I'm talking who putting water in the who's in your quarter, who's in your corner, your family, the tax, you know what I'm saying? And his testimony we talking about, you know what I'm saying, just even the word about his son being murdered, you know what I'm saying, in the school, and the time, you know what I'm saying, in a high profile case, who he is, in the case that he's locked up for, that time you say, well, you want to, a lot of times I don't think people want to know how deep this is. It's kind of like in that movie, A Few Good Men, with Jack Nicholson's character said, can't handle the truth. And I just, when he was telling laying it out, blow by blow, I was like, your son was my opposition. He was definitely targeted. With that being said, my brother, welcome to Fremont Radio, man. The mic is open.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. Again, I'm, like you said, I'm high off the people. You know what I mean? It was a tremendous vibe and good weekend that we done had.
Yeah.
With all of us, those is moments that count right there. You know what I mean? That's what really means something. It shows the real from the fake all day, anyway. But like as Chairman was saying, my son Jamari Rice was murdered February 1st, 2022, at school in Sika High School. It was the second day at high school, and just because we're still going through court procedures and stuff like that, the trial's going to be starting October 24th and November 28th for the murderers, which were 18-year-old and 19-year-old grown men. My son was 15 years old, mind you that. It's very deep. You know what I mean? I am a civil rights activist. I have been standing in solidarity with a lot of families and, high-profile cases, and I went and protested at a judge house. Judge Regina Chu demanded cameras in the courtroom for the Kim Potter trial. Kim Potter was responsible for murdering Dante Wright. So we went to her house, the judge's house, and demanded cameras in the courtroom, which we were peacefully protesting. And mind you, we set bars really high. You feel what I'm saying? We're used to protesting at murder cops' houses and attorney general houses and DA houses, but nobody never went and protested at a judge house. To the point right now in St. Paul, Minnesota, they're trying to put in laws in place right now so that we can't do that. Well, I just wanted to clear that, mention that part in as well. But yeah, we went to the judge house. Coming back from Thanksgiving, coming back from Louisville, Kentucky, Thanksgiving Day. Apparently, they put out a warrant for my arrest on Thanksgiving Day. Now that we know courts are closed that day, but yet they had a warrant for my arrest for felony harassment of a judicial officer. I fought this case for 5 months, and I beat the case January 28th. Again, February 1st is when my son was murdered. When I got out of
you beat the case. You beat the case January 28th.
Yeah, I beat it.
So you had not been processed. You were not processed out yet.
No, I wasn't processed out yet. I actually had to stay in there until March. I had to stay in there until March. I don't know why, for what reason, after I beat the case, but yeah, this is kind of what the system does. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's designed for us to be failing and to lose out on everything, our house, our cars, our families, and just in our life in general.
Yes.
So when I got out of jail, I read, and I'm only mentioning this right now, like I said, the trial's going on, but it was multiple articles that were out saying one of the guys that murdered my son was related to the judge whose house I went and protested at.
Man.
And yeah, for everybody who's listening, you heard exactly.
What's the odds of that?
Said. I went to the judge house and protested the judge house. I beat the case, felony harassment of a judicial officer. I beat that case. January 28th, February 1st is when my son got murdered. When I get out of jail in March, I read articles, and mind you, all of this was already going on, like all different type of articles. They putting us together. They knew who, the media is spinning the narrative that I'm Black Lives Matter, this and that and the third, you know what I mean? Trying to make me out to be a criminal. But, like I said, I beat the case. And then when I get out, then I'm reading articles saying that one of the guys who murdered my son was related to the judge. Like, I don't believe in coincidences, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been shown time after time, and from multiple situations, even before what happened to my son, where the connections just be too similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's too close. It's almost like too close for comfort. And if you're out here standing up against this unjust system, you really out here putting your life on the line, putting your family on the line. You're in the risk of losing everything, but you would do it for the people because you're so much in tune with the people. If you're for the people, by the people, you'll love your people. And that's just how I am. You know what I mean? That's how I operate it. In order to change the world, you got to be willing to change within yourself. So, what I did in my past is nothing what I'm doing in my future. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to think about it, but it's real. This is real life. This is what what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I just again, man, continue condolences. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta really struggle to connect these dots, man. Because I guess you look back, it's, like the counterinsurgency. In other words, the war waves on the people is real. And a lot of times people say, just look at the resistance by the person as an individual. And I said Winnie Mandela had said when a person is in prison, it's not just the family. Not just the individual that does the time. How the family and the community is impacted. And when we take stances, man, you know what I'm saying. And it's not like this just a simple scope. Like that was that image of like that on Public Enemy album that target on that individual. I remember it's a net. It's a net. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole impact. And I remember. Talking about even the case of Malcolm Shabazz, the grandson of Malcolm, late great Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz, and I was talking about, like, man, just even this system, it studies lineage, it studies bloodline, you know what I'm saying, and I tell because I may not even be familiar with it, so And that's how we have to look at this, in regards to the war being waged. I recall a situation when I was taken to the infamous TAMS, Supermax, and they had a process. I thought, now it's like deja vu. I just talked about this a few weeks ago, but they take you from a board, and they after 2 days they explain why you placed in the infamous Supermax, and they took me down there late, but they finally had just said, okay, well, the director says you are Fred Hampton Jr. You have they said, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., you have the ability to organize. And I was like, damn, let me get a copy of that paper. So we can't do that. But another brother, they had took him, and they had took him for the hearing, and he came back, and he was upset, and he was upset. He said, man, they told me that I'm related to one of the leadership of the street organizations, you see the gangs in Chicago. And everybody's like, man, what? He say, I'm mad because I didn't know it. He say, they showed him and his family how he's related to this person. He say, had I known that, I would have been, enjoying the fruits of, of being related to this brother. He said, I didn't even know it. And they had broke down, they knew his lineage, And so, again, they study potential. It's like a dog by a dog breeder. They know your bloodlines, all that, and that net of attack, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times people dismiss, oh, you paranoid, you tripping, so on and so forth. And it's not just only in regards to other individuals, but certain things that, like this, we talk about the salting of the earth, how certain areas, West Oakland, West Side Chicago, it's not by happenstance they were flooded with dope. You know what I'm saying? And it was assault the earth. So again, to put this, we had to start really, putting this in context, and you go back and look at historically people who stood up, you know what I'm saying, had family members were targeted, and Tupac talked about how his mother never could get a job, seek employment, so on and so forth. Other people in the family, you know what I'm saying. So I just want to put that in context, y'all. We live in the record Fremont Radio. We have Cortez Rice here. Again, we still riding high off the people from phenomenal event in Santa Ana, California. Y'all, brother, give us some contact information for you also if you can.
You talking about
So-
of the event?
No, I'm talking for you. If people, keep updated with your social media, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, to piggyback off of what you were saying, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm not paranoid. Number one, I'm not crazy. None of that. Let's make that clear. So I'm big in a community. I do a lot for my community. I do a lot for the families who've been impacted by police brutality, gun violence, and racism, which is all in one, if you ask me. I actually I knew George Floyd personally. So me and my cousin Timothy Williams, we marched from Minnesota to Washington, D.C. Back in 2020, August 8th. We took off. It took us 22 days, 1,142 miles. Along the way, we met some amazing, strong families. We linked up with community activists and leaders across the nation, and marched all the way to Minnesota to Washington, D.C. for the 57th commemoration speech of Dr. Martin Luther King, which was the reenactment of the Million Man March with the families. So, the white wingers and the conservatives and police across the country, they know who I am. They know what I do. They know what I stand for. And I'm telling everybody, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Literally, the time is now, and it has always been now. So we have to take our stance in this world, in this movement, and what we're doing for our people and our community. So we can continue to light the legacy of our loved ones and to uplift our brothers and sisters in our communities as well. So they know who I am. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm surrounded by very strong, powerful leaders in this movement, and they target you. That's what they do. They target you. Literally the government, the city officials, the officers, the police departments, and police unions, they target the leaders, and it's been happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You will always have your haters that will sit up there and talk all type of crap and stuff like that about you. Mind you, they talked about Jesus, they talked about God. You know what I mean? So what makes me any better? They gonna definitely talk about me. They did it to Malcolm X. They did it to all our great ancestors and leaders that's been in this movement. So. We just gotta keep. I can't stop fighting though. I won't stop fighting. And standing in solidarity with these families because we have to continue to uplift one another.
Right
we gotta spread love, not hate. That's the message that we gotta spread out here, literally.
Right on. Again, that's Cortez.
I have Bianca right here too. She wanted to say something.
Oh, no doubt.
Brianna Taylor.
No doubt about it. Right on. For those on Facebook, y'all might get
How you doing?
Free of Mars. I'm still riding half the energy from the phenomenal event we just had though. You know what I'm saying? That still ain't came down yet though. The energy still on 1,000. How y'all doing? How y'all holding up?
Who you telling?
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm trying not to act like a super fan.
The energy was intense. Energy was intense.
Energy was definitely high, and our presence was definitely felt.
Yes.
All the love and appreciation.
Yes.
You just don't know. It's unexplainable. It's an unexplainable feeling, man.
Man, listen, hey,
But honored. I'm honored and humbled at the same time.
Hey.
I'm honored and humbled at the same time. We get the opportunity to be under your leadership in the same space, and still out here fighting for our Black and brown people. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm honored, and I'm honored and humbled as well. Again, what I'm saying, I feel fortunate to serve again in that the event, though the event was the scheduled event of Rose the Concrete on the stage, but I'm talking about even after that, up the stage, you know what I'm saying, the interacting with the families, and a lot of stuff wasn't even planned. The community, the podcast, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's ongoing, you know what I'm saying. And again, and I just.
Absolutely.
Jacob Blake, he had to leave out early, but quality time outweighs quantity time. And again,
we definitely gonna have to, rekindle.
Ain't no doubt about it.
We still have a lot of work to do.
Ain't no doubt about it.
I look forward to our experience together.
Yeah. We on?
And making change.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it, y'all. And y'all, we talking live and direct. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you about these cases. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, you know what I'm saying, in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, Ronnie Man Johnson, you know what I'm saying, these different cases, Nicholas Lee in the Cook County Jail, and you know what I'm saying, so many cases. A lot of times these names, you may just see the stats and facts, you know what I'm saying. We pride ourselves on, you know what I'm saying, I mean, the family members, you know what I'm saying, directly, like I was pointing out this event in Santa Ana, it was good they had people that knew Brandon Lopez. And it's something, cause it's really struggling to humanize these individuals, because a lot of times we see you can become immune, or you can become stoic toward, you know what I'm saying. And Assata Shakur has said, one of the things about being oppressed is you have to struggle to be able to distinguish what's normal and what's abnormal. So so we keep these names out there, but it's important too to hear like it's certain. Yeah. Like you do interviews with certain people. They watching 85 South. I got to throw the slug in on my sister. Real. I got to throw this crack on her. And hold on, and Cortez. On a side note, Bianca, she was saying, I got this idea, but you know what I'm saying, I don't let the cat out the bag when she's talking about this idea. But she talking about this whole thing about, and she said, you ever heard of this show? The man, y'all, okay, the audience, y'all, she asked me she said this thing like 85 South. I don't know if you ever heard of it. So Cortez, have I ever heard of 85 South? So that's what I tell Google, how the young people say, Google me, you know what I'm saying? So we put the whole show and everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So me and Jacob Blake, we laughing at them like, man, I've been on 85 South and everything. And I was watching the episode a clip yesterday, 85 South, and they was talking
Yeah.
Too Short about Tupac, and they was asking it was about different experiences, and even like so you hear these names, a lot of times people we fortunate to have people, and they were saying some human dynamics about Pac, and because you know what I'm saying, a lot of times you get the names, see the pictures, and that connect might not be there. So when we talking about these cases, y'all, these names that you're hearing, you know, it was really something on that stage. You know what I'm saying? Again, while the presentations, and I tell you, I said I don't care how many times I hear Mother Comrade or Cohen Jerry detail what happened December 4th, 1969. You know that impact of you know what I'm saying, not only being there with when Chairman Frears assassinated, covering down on Chairman, but even knowing him in life. And this is and like Tupac again with Tupac, the song "Brenda's Got a Baby" was a part, and they say, well, how does this affect us? And Pac said, let me show you how it impacts the whole community. And when you hear go back and listen to you know what I'm saying, the testimonies, if you will, you know what I'm saying, the trickle down impact, how it impacts us, you know, the hits in our families and in our community. It can't be told in words, y'all. And so, and you get to know certain people through the way other people, you know what I'm saying, follow up on them, how they represent them, how they speak about them, and stuff, you know what I'm saying, and stuff you may take for granted, you know what I'm saying. So again, as we always say, a legacy is more important than your life. Again, legacy is more important in your life. And we owe it to these names, we owe it to these people. Again, you know what I'm saying, to keep on pushing, you know what I'm saying, real talk. And we are fortunate.
I feel.
And
I will. I'm gonna forever represent, my niece Breonna Taylor.
So you're right.
And make sure that, her life and legacy lives on, through me
right.
and in our family and, generations to come. And that's why we founded Families United as well. So other people can, have that same opportunity, because not everybody make it in the news, but we still out here dying at a rapid rate. So it's important for us to not only advocate for our family, but for, other families that's going through the same tragedy in our communities without, national attention. So it's definitely dearly important to us. And, under your leadership, I can't go wrong. There's no right or wrong turn.
We own the
point.
property.
And so I'm definitely humbled. Like the energy. I'm going off the energy from this past weekend. Like it's their come.
Man.
We was just talking about how we'll cherish this moment forever. Like nothing compares to what we just went through.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
All love.
Yes, indeed. Bro, as we say, right black at you, man, right black at y'all, man. We're going to continue to make history, take history, tape history. These, the airways are always open. In fact, ironically, too, we mentioned, too, like even, and just, I mentioned these different individuals also. It was last week, week before last, where you was with Jacob Blake, and Akron, Ohio. What's the case?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
case?
we got our, a lot of we was arrested in Akron where Jacob was assaulted.
Yeah.
And the activist, Michael Harris out there, they was assaulted. We went out there to stand in solidarity with Jalen Walker's family.
Jalen Walker, yeah.
And really was tracked down and targeted by Akron police. We all went to jail out there. We are still all pending cases. They still are pursuing cases on us with inciting a riot, failure to disperse, and I forget the last one. But yeah, they also very much coming after us with these charges. So our main focus right now is to get these charges dismissed. Not only our charges, but other community members out there that was wrongfully arrested as well. So we need Akron Police Chief to drop these charges.
Sure. I need y'all to make sure y'all follow Cortez Bianca. I mentioned to them, and I hope them youngsters, them brothers who I spoke to today at their school, especially the young kid Jarquez, you better be tuning in. That's your homework assignment, man. Y'all, these I tell you,
Absolutely.
this don't be no one hit wonders. In other words, you hear about these cases, you say, "Oh, damn, that's messed up. They killed, they killed this person. They killed, and it's over." And a lot of times you would think people would say, "Okay, well, man, you see what happened to your family? Sit back, be cool." And these are forces that we fortunate this man. I mean, to be recharged, to come back out and to travel to go tie in other cases. You know what I'm saying? So again, we got to see the time, and we got to, we need that support. And I'll give you so I can't get to Akron, Ohio. I can't get down to Cook County Jail or whatever. The deal is, man, those call-ins, those hashtag, that social
So
media,
call in,
all that's
yes,
important. All that's important,
yes,
y'all.
keep
All that's
light and
important.
attention.
All that's important, no doubt about it.
Definitely.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we talk about that. We have to talk about our victories too, Chair.
Oh, no doubt.
We were just out in Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
Prayers to Tampa, Florida right now. They're going through a hurricane, but we just was down there with Joseph Andrew III's family, which was awarded $15 million in his wrongful death case down in Tampa, Florida. So we do need to celebrate those victories, and it's still
Right.
justice for Andrew Joseph III.
Write these names down for those who just tuning in with us who might not be familiar. I threw a lot of names out there.
Write them down,
Y'all write these names and go check these names. And notice how the ruler even had a media reports this. You know what I'm saying? They, police involved shooting, whatever. They real careful with the words and terms. You know what I'm saying? And they, like in regards to this case here, give me the name again, Andrew, the Florida.
Andrew Joseph III.
Andrew Joseph III. You know what I'm saying?
Joseph III in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida.
The sheriff found the sheriff at in Tampa, Florida.
So we got to
The
keep
jurors awarded the family $15 million.
keep up in the ante, y'all. Keep up in the ante. You know what I'm saying? These are we said what Frantz Fanon said. We will accept the concessions, but never compromise our principle. And a lot of times you take certain victories for granted, but you think back not that far long ago. If you go back and just look, like it was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? For police name to be revealed, police to be charged. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because the system said, well, you know what, we thought about it. We went back and checked it is kind of bogus, and so we go say this is due to resistance. You know what I'm saying? And people say, well, how did we do? It's not just this one tactic. We assess different apparatuses, different. You know what I'm saying? Again, the call-ins all let play a role, and basically that street heat from the people. You know what I'm saying? And as again, a criminal psychologist said, behavior is affected by consequences, y'all. So again, we encourage y'all to get these cases, keep them moving out there. You know what I'm saying? Time in, because again, hey, we can't get caught in well, this just happened in Chicago, this happened in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying, man? Make these connections. You know what I'm saying? State to state, and bigger than that, y'all. Bigger than that. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
I pose a case.
Let's not forget about one of the officers involved with the murder, the slaying of Marcellus Burnett out there in Waukegan, Illinois, was just brought up on charges as well.
Give us that again if you can. One more time.
I said one of the officers involved with the murder and the slaying of Marcellus Burnett out in Waukegan, Illinois, was just charged as well.
Yeah. Man.
I'm staying in solidarity with the Burnett family.
No doubt about it.
Uplift him and continue to send them prayers in this fight and in this battle. For anybody, like, please don't give up. Please don't feel discouraged. It may take 1 year. It may take 2 years. It may take 8 years. And it's a prime example. Like she said, with the Andrew Joseph wrongful death lawsuit that gave the family out there. We must continue to stand and continue to fight. Please don't feel discouraged at all. Don't think that you won't get no justice or you ain't gonna get no help or anything like that. ain't nobody gonna fight no harder than you. You know, so you got to be out there and fighting for your loved one, continue the life and the legacy of your loved one as well, no matter what. Whether it's one army, two armies, or three is better than none. You mean so?
And battle fatigue is real. Battle fatigue is real. Battle fatigue is real, and that's and it's and we in the spirit of steel sharpening steel and men and women sharpening men and women. We so that's why it's important that we utilize apparatuses such as this Freedom on Radio that we hear about since victories that we hear about struggles we go through. Because again. They're not going to show you, other people are resistance. Like I tell people, say when they train the elephant in India, if the elephant sees the trainer step on the cup and the elephant steps on the cup, that elephant has to be destroyed because it can become contagious. I tell people, so when you watch shows like Cops, I say, you think they're going to show you the ones where people got away? No, they're going to edit that out. You know what I'm saying? 48 hours. People watching 48 hours and damn, everybody's snitching. I say they're not going to show you the ones who ain't snitching. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to show you. So again, a lot of times you hear about these cases, you like, damn, motherfucker, just you see what happened? Well, when they kill us when nothing happened. We giving you direct testimony, you know what I'm saying, of resistance that's happening, you know what I'm saying, it's happening. People say, well, I didn't know about it. It's an old saying that say, if a tree falls in the forest and it falls, if it doesn't make a sound, if you didn't hear it, who are you? It makes a sound, of course, whether you heard it or not. And resistance is happening, but again, it's a potent part of the plan to never release that and say, do not let them know that Cat's fighting back. You know what I'm saying? Cat's talking about this here. And you dig, and of course, it can be demoralized because you're going against all odds. Just speaking about this here. But as Malcolm X said, one of the analogies that Malcolm X had gave, you can lay down for this system. You can lay down and say, man, you can literally lay down and say, master, am I cool? Am I all right? This system would say, no, nigga, turn over. You know what I'm saying? It is never satisfied. And it's not only the service of the people, but service of history, that we lay it down that for future generations, they can look back and say, man, no, some motherfuckers got down, motherfuckers fall back, motherfuckers call this out. So it's not no new thing. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we'll get some setbacks, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's a saying, one of the sayings that the Sandinistas had in Latin America, that the will of the people is greater than the man's technology, y'all. Real talk. We live and direct, y'all. Spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. That's what it is. We got the family of Fremont.
Fremont family.
Fremont's coming in.
Fremont.
Huh?
Fremont family, we had calling queue.
Calling Q. Welcome to Fremont Radio.
Yeah, what's up? This Ann for Savage Family.
So Fremont, who was it again?
This is Ann from Savage Family, fam.
What?
I don't know who's asking to call in, brother.
Hey,
What's going down?
y'all don't know who Savage Fam is. Y'all, if y'all happen to miss the Chairman Fred Street Party August 30th, the stage and the ground still hot. You know what I'm saying, from the heat. You know what I'm saying? These comrades, they laid it down. And even before then, we got a long history, again, not just in regards to the performance, what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think back on hitting the reservations and, tying in the resistance, you know what I'm saying, African and indigenous community. I know, again, as I said before, a lot of people would say, well, I haven't, some people even say after the Chairman Fred Street Party, some youngsters said, they said, man, I ain't know, I ain't know no Indians. Even he said, you had real native indigenous. I said, yeah. I mean, this, man, it's hot. I can't, and I'm not saying this to know that you just need to know about this, just so you, I mean, in an abstract sort of way. It also puts the stuff in historical context. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go back and look, you hear about stuff about, I ain't talking about the John Wayne movies. I'm talking about like even the propaganda, like that you hear about, terms like Indian guilt, and even how you view the discussion, the term about land. You know what I'm saying? And you start hearing about how you look at the land different. You look at the history, and, and you take it. You hear about like it was happening in our respective communities. You know what I'm saying? The political prisoners, and when you start hearing about other dynamics, you know what I'm saying, that's outside of your generation and outside your geographical location. One, it can be demoralized again. Like, damn, these motherfuckers fucking over everybody. Well, you like they did it to the native people too. You start hearing terms like pipelines and you know what I'm saying, stuff you don't have to hear about in a reactionary way. In other words, a lot of times we hear about stuff about salmon, the way fishing, the water, what the thing Al Gore, I'm getting the term they use about, saying how the earth is being destroyed. But you hear from a watered down white people's version. But you know what I'm saying, to be touched down with comrades who tying in, challenging this here. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the land in an actual way. You know what I'm saying? Similar to we talk about like the programs, the survival programs, Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, we gotta have the children should eat breakfast, the most important meal of the day. And the same ones that's saying this to you, you know what I'm saying, literally have programs set up, you know what I'm saying, with if the children get anything, the type of sugary cereals they give them, so on and so forth, and you say it's really just a bullshit speech. But you see, the Panther Party actually not only tying theory and practice. The indigenous community, you know what I'm saying, I mean, really challenging pipelines, you know what I'm saying, really, and then you start saying, oh, we should come together. That's you said, wait a minute. You start hearing about the coalition of work of campaigns about, you know what I'm saying, Leonard Peltier, you know what I'm saying, Mumia Abu-Jamal's, Orlando Wallace, with concrete, not just come together, oh, you my homie, my friend. I mean, man, based on blood, sweat, and tears, you know what I'm saying, I mean, attacks, you know what I'm saying, when Comrade Carlos, the cases they was given, a standard, different, go to, you hear about places like Standard Rock and other places, and you start saying, wait a minute, I just came from, we just traveled recently, and the place was Custer's Last Stand. You know, and you say, you hear about this, you say, damn, you hear about this in history class, and it's real abstract. We're giving y'all the opportunity to draw the correlations. You know what I'm saying? What happened and what's happening, and again, and to get and to get the underbelly of it. You know what I'm saying? So Savage Family in the building, Ant man, talk to us, man. Free Amar, welcome, man. Again, man, love y'all, miss y'all, man. Already, man. We brainstormed on some major moves that happened. I know you over there brainstorming on some different things. You know what I'm saying? I want you to definitely break the ice with us without giving too much details. But you know what I'm saying? This tour we're gonna be putting together, and whatever else, you know what I'm saying, going down the respective area over there. So the mic is open, my man.
For sure. Appreciate the love and respect. Free them all day.
Free 'em all.
Much love to the movement. We appreciate being having the opportunity to be able to reach out and work with. So our mission is like where I come from. I'm the Slam. I come from illegally occupied Washington State. Right, that's where my peoples come from. So the reason most people think natives don't exist because they had the, one, extermination programs, and then two, they had the relocation programs, and they started sending our people to the city with no chance to return to their homeland, so they just dropped them in various areas far away, be it LA, be it Minneapolis, Minnesota, throughout the nation. They just started dropping natives in the city, and so because of that, we kind of went different ways, and we kind of figured out ways to survive just like anybody else, and that's kind of the situation. But now, we kind of returning to some of the things that grounded us beforehand. Where we're from, we have things called Nishnana-Quinn, what other people call warriors. Like, we're forbidden to forgive. We can't forgive the system. We're disallowed. That is, we have no allowance to forgive a system that destroyed our people. So there's no way for us to say, okay, like, this is good and we can move on and we can move forward. Like, our objective is to destroy the system that imprisons our people, right? And so for us, every prisoner is a political prisoner. Every prisoner is illegally imprisoned by an unjust system and a system that's not even supposed to be in place. It's a rogue system. The United States of America is in no way, shape, or form a proper system. So for us, like to naturally have alliances with people we've had alliances with before, people that we've been taught that are not our allies or our enemies or whatever it may be. That's an illusion so that we can become weaker and remain weak and not have the ability to actually confront the system and maintain a real resistance against the system, right? So for us, now we see the things that we grew up on in the city as just training grounds for us to prepare for the things to come in terms of the battles to come, right? So we see it as such, right? And so for us, it's always been an honor to die in battle. It's an honor to live as well, but at the same time, for us, resistance comes with all kinds of costs, and realistically, the honor to be able to represent who we are, what we are, and represent the resistance itself, and know that we're forbidden to forgive the system, And so now we're just talking about all ways that we can work together with all of our relatives that share the same struggle, that know what it's like to be in prison in a system that despises us, that profits off of our misery, that destroys us, takes every opportunity to kill us, takes every opportunity to imprison us, and so for us, that's it's a natural progression back into a position that we're supposed to be in, which is working together, right? So for us, we look forward to it. So for us, we bring the energy that we can bring. We, we're working on networks to help, realistically be able to feed each other. Like good food, not food that's put into our grocery stores that teaches us to destroy ourselves as well too, right? So for us, those who feed you, control you, in a sense, that's their so our vision is networks. No, natives are still here. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality is that they created. They didn't necessarily create something. They put us in a position to be kind of unseen, and so we have to remind everyone that we're present. Not only are we present, we're also very much active in the revitalization of our people, and also active in the protection and defense of our people and homelands, right, in our waterways as well. So, our mission is to work with people, and my sister Kanahusa, linked me up with yourself, linked our organization up with yourself and others. And we just appreciate the opportunity to be able to be there, to be able to start doing this work. We got a lot of work to do, so we're behind, so we got to go, 10 toes down all the time. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So yeah, I guess that's any other questions, any other concerns. Like realistically, we're fighting the same. We're fighting the same enemy, the same oppressor, the same system, and so that's where we sit right now. We're not on some yes. That's kind of our mission right now, is to find like-minded, like-spirited people who share, who share the same kind of ideologies and the same kind of principles and values, because slowly they're diminishing. So
Right on. And you can give us some context too, man. You know what I'm saying? Social media contacts. Since people check out some stuff that y'all been doing thus far, and y'all been doing, and we've been doing this far. Again, y'all, for those who just tuning in, say no new relationship. We go years back, and it's inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Because let me say this first. Unfortunately, a lot of commonalities, you know what I'm saying, from reservations to the ghettos, you know what I'm saying, you go back and, look at some of the conditions and what's happening. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, some of the issues, you know what I'm saying, with some of the propaganda bombs that just dropped on both our community's respective youth, you know what I'm saying, I say propaganda bombs under the front of so-called rap music, you know what I'm saying? We continue, but fortunately, we continue that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Again, go back and look at some of the video footage, y'all, and type in some of these pages. Some of the music's been laying down. Unfortunately, some of the forms of chemical biological warfare, aka fentanyl, and you know what I'm saying? It's hitting us hard with this shit, man. I'm talking about, from the reservation to the hood, and this is not about happenstance, y'all. It's, again, chemical biological warfare. So we putting some gang things together to apply the correct terms to it, and you know what I'm saying, and defend ourselves, you know what I'm saying, put it in correct context. What this is, man, is genocide. You know what I'm saying? So give us some context to that.
Yeah, you want some, you said some social media.
So social media contacts. So social media contacts where people can, get in contact with you.
Hit up, I guess YouTube, the easiest spot to establish family. That's like, there's because of the gang of people that throw our music behind whatever. But just look up Savage Fam. Typically, Savage Fam is the best way to find it, but in terms of Slam Savsquatch, that's NEXCLAYUM, Savsquatch, SAVSQUATCH on Instagram. That's kind of where I stay most busy when it comes time. But at the same time, we were so busy in the movement, we don't do super mission to promote our meet. Although some people want to start doing it a little bit different in terms of just based off of the fundamentals of what we represent and things like that, and kind of it growing again into what it represents. But like you said, we're like in an ongoing Holocaust, like the genocide and everything that's going against our people is ongoing. Like people were saying at some point that this shit stopped, but realistically, this shit is ongoing. We stopped it ourselves, right? So that's the situation we're faced with. But yeah. So like I said, YouTube, just look up Savage Fam and then connect on Instagram at any point in time with that Slam Sasquatch, which is so just think in, tap in, and we're 100% accessible. We're not, we don't disregard nobody or just so we tap in with everybody, and to build and link with those that share a common vision. And our vision is straight up, like you go to our videos, we're burning up American flags and all that because we're Native, not American, not Native American. We understand the circumstance of our people. We understand the shared struggle that we have. And so, we represent that fully. It's our obligation. It's not my right. It's my obligation, right? So that's where we sit. So those are the two spots where you can get a hold of me at the easiest,
Man, revolution, love, respect, and we gonna make history, take history, and tape history, man. Again, we're gonna continue to do that. And again, those I'm still riding half. As Chairman Fred would say, half the people, man. Again, the Real Deal Rainbow Coalition is continuing on. Y'all make sure y'all check out those social media contacts. And again, revolution and love to all those who called in tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got some. We brainstorm. I'm going step by step because you know what I'm saying. We gonna be working on putting the skeleton together for this these next move with this tour and some details. Real soon, you know what I'm saying? So look for Savage Fam, Capital P, and others, you know what I'm saying? We so stay locked and loaded, y'all. Any closing words you want to give our fam before we break out?
No, revolution, love to everyone out there too. Free them all, so it's much love and respect to everything that y'all do and everything that we're going to connect on and everything that y'all do.
And then we do, you know what I'm saying? Again, hey, y'all heard Live and Direct, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Again, y'all, this ain't no. I mean, this ain't just no. It'd be nice if the different communities get together. We done broke bread. We done been in ceremonies together. We done struggled together. Been under attack together. You know what I'm saying? And this how these relationships are built. And you know what I'm saying? And they contested conditions. You know what I'm saying? That goes with anybody. I tell people, a lot of people say, "Oh, I ain't never just no unity." I'm talking about contested conditions. You get to find out who you are through contested conditions. I said, one of the best cellmates I had when I was locked up was a guy by the name of Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. You know what I'm saying? And I've been under contested conditions with these comrades. You know what I'm saying? Contested conditions. You know what I'm saying? You see where people at. You know, out there, hit that. I see Cassandra Greer. Our poster came by that. Listen, by the other day, it's another war story. I don't tell y'all about that happened today. I want to give a shout out to these brothers, man. Some major leadership in Chicago, y'all. I'm talking about, man, man, I just want to commend, man, some major names played a major role today with averting some potential situations today, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really excited about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I know we capable of doing it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the people dealt with this contradiction earlier, you know what I'm saying? And y'all probably, you know what I'm saying, many people may hear about it, and then again, people may not hear about it, and it's due to some, you know what I'm saying, people reached out to some forces today, man. I was a clinch fist salute. Those who listen, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. And you'll be surprised. That's what's gonna happen. The real connect with the real, man. I'm talking about from the reservation to the plantation, man. You know what I'm saying? From ghettos to the barrios, man. That, man, principal coalition, man, that connect us. Again, one of America's policies is to create chaos, then restore order, and dismantle all structured communications, so on and so forth, y'all. So again, man, y'all make sure y'all be on point for this every Wednesday. Freedom on Radio. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's tape history, man. Again, revolution and love, respect. The Rainbow Coalition still riding them from the county jail to the reservation, man. You know what I'm saying? We got some stuff coming up October 29th and 30th. You know what I'm saying? October 15th. We had a calendar ready for y'all. Hopefully next week. You know, hopefully we had a whole calendar ready for y'all, but hopefully by next week. So get y'all, man, get ready to continue to make history, take history, and tape history, y'all. Heads up, Arizona Physical Show. Call Free them all. Sister, can you, Sister Conrad, what you got? What you got on deck to take us out with? I should have had some Savage Fam or some Capital P or somebody on deck. I should have told you to have that ready. But we're ready for next week. But whatever you can pull up for us now, have that ready to roll. Free them all.